Officers identified a potential suspect vehicle and began following that vehicle with unmarked police cars from that location to the area of about 84th and Greenwood. And at about 3:40 at that location, occupants of the suspect vehicle fired at officers that were following that vehicle. A pursuit was authorized. Uniformed vehicles began to pursue that vehicle onto I-25 South. That suspect vehicle exited at 48th Avenue, turned into the neighborhood, lost control, and crashed. The occupants of that vehicle, 2 occupants, got out and fled. The passenger was caught a short distance away and taken into custody without incident. The driver of the vehicle stopped in the 4800 block of Elliott, turned and fired at the officer, did not strike the officer. The officer returned fire, struck the suspect. He was subsequently taken into custody. Officers rendered aid and called for an ambulance to transport him to the hospital. He's currently in the hospital in stable condition, non-life-threatening injury. So at this point, we have locked down this scene, and investigation is underway. Denver homicide detectives, as well as investigators from State Patrol and Colorado Bureau of Investigations, will be completing this investigation and turning the results of that investigation over to the Denver District Attorney for their review.
Which jurisdiction was involved?
So Thornton was involved in the initial pursuit and in the officer-involved shooting as well.
You mentioned that there was a crash. Where did that happen? Is there damage to any homes?
No homes were damaged. They, I think, crashed into a retaining barrier down here at the bottom of the block, about 48th and Elliott.
Were they the undercover officers, or the car was not marked? Is that right?
The vehicles that were initially following the suspect vehicle was an unmarked vehicle with plainclothes officers inside of that vehicle. They did not identify themselves as police officers. They were just following them, I think, until a safe location where they could conduct a stop with marked officers. But before that was able to happen, they were fired upon by the suspects.
And those were Thornton officers?
Correct, correct. There were no Denver officers involved in this incident at all.
So this person was firing at maybe people who they did not know were police officers?
That's unknown at this time,
Sure.
whether or not they knew.
Okay.
Was Denver aware that Thornton was conducting a chase inside city limits?
So I'm sure that at some point during the pursuit that went from Thornton, Adams County into Denver, I'm sure that there was communication between their dispatcher and our dispatcher to advise officers that a pursuit was entering our city.
Do you know the ages of the suspects involved, the people in the car?
My understanding is that they are adult males.
Okay. Also, do you know if where the person was shot at? Where the person was?
Lower extremity,
Okay.
1 round.
Was the car stolen?
Unknown at this time.
I guess just a message for neighbors in this area. Obviously, it just kind of, there's a crash, now obviously a shooting happening. I don't know how long this investigation will take, but it looks like some of them will be able to maybe get out of their homes right now.
Certainly. So, you know, I'm sure a chaotic scene, situation very early in the morning. I think happy to report that the public is safe. All of the suspects are in custody, so there's no danger to the public right now. We will be conducting a pretty extensive investigation on this block for probably a couple of hours, and I don't think that individuals are locked in their homes. I think that we can manage to get people around the evidence on the scene and get them on their way to work.
And what was the initial reason that officers started this pursuit?
So there was a burglary that occurred in the area of about 100th and Quivus in Thornton, and this suspect vehicle was identified as potentially involved in that burglary, which started the initial following of that vehicle by those unmarked cars.
Do you know where around the initial shooting happened?
So the initial shots that were fired at officers was approximately 84th and Greenwood, and that occurred at about 3:40 this morning.
I know it's not your department, but do you know the length of service of the officer who did fire their weapon?
I do not.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.